guys, and welcome back to the Sonderity vlog. I'm super excited because today I want to share with you my all-time favorite chapter books for girls. And all of these chapter books just also happen to be series books, which I love because if I find a great book that I love to read with my daughter, I love that there's many more that I can read with her. And so I'm going to share them with you today. All of these books I not only love for her to read because they are just have good messages and I feel like they're very high quality, but I also really like to read them with her. So these are our very favorite books. I say they're for girls, all of them could be for either gender, but most of them, the main character is female, and so I mean, I like those for my girls. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. These books are just great, and whatever you find, if you like to read them to your boys and your girls, that's great. Anyway, so I'll go ahead and go through these books from the easiest books and the least words, most pictures, to books that are longer and have longer chapters and everything. And I started reading these books to my daughter at about the age of 3, and she's 6 now, and so we've been reading them about 3 years. And I know that some of the older books and harder books she will like to read for a few years still. So I would say these books, you can start them anywhere around the age of 3, maybe a little bit before, maybe a little bit after, depending on your own child. And you can read them up until 6 or 7 or 8. So these are going to be my favorite books. Okay, the first book is Mercy Watson. This series is so good. I love it because the illustrations are just amazing, and I think it's a great chapter book to start with your kids because it has lots of illustrations all the way through, but then the words are just a little bit longer, but there's still illustrations on almost every page. And so I would read these books to my daughter. I read them a lot during a road trip we took, and they're a little bit longer. They took, I don't know, 15 minutes to read maybe, or 20 minutes max to read. And so they were a little bit longer. She had to give her attention for a longer amount of time, but they're also beautiful, colorful, vibrant pictures. And the story is so cute about this little pig. There's 6 books in this series, and then there's also a picture book about Mercy when he was just a baby. And so anyway, these are such good books. I totally highly recommend them. They're great to get started if you're going to start venturing kind of out of the picture books more into longer books. This is a great one to start with. Also, I think both boys and girls would absolutely love this book. It's a great family read. All right, next we have Bink and Golly. I really like these books. It's about 2 friends, 2 girls. Their names are Bink and Golly, and kind of like the Mercy Watson, they kind of get you started into just a little bit longer book, but still with lots of pictures. They're funny, they're humorous, they're silly. They're by the same author as Mercy Watson, and she just has like a very lighthearted way of writing these first early chapter books, and so I really like this one. We also read these a lot on long road trips because, again, they engage the child for longer, and they have wonderful, vibrant pictures that are just really fun, and they're just funny, and so my daughter loves those. Sophie Mouse might be my favorite of all time. The Adventures of Sophie Mouse. Sophie Mouse and her friends Hattie Frog and Owen Snake, they go on adventures all over this cute little forest with all of their woodland friends, and they go to school. And I just love these books because there's always a little bit of a hard thing in each of the books that the characters have to overcome, but they're also just so joyful, and I just think they're so good. I love the main character. I love the friendships they have. I love how they overcome obstacles and they work together as a team, and I think they're just really great books. I started reading these to my daughter when she was 2 or 3. And she loved them, and there are now, I want to say 15 or 16 books in the series, and we have every one of them, and I love every one of them. And my daughter loves to read these on her own, and they're kind of the first books she started reading on her own when she learned to read, and they're pretty simple for her. Some of the first longer books, right, when she was reading on her own. Again, there's some cute pictures in here, and the words are really big, so it's not super long, but it's definitely engages you for a longer amount of time. So I love this book. I love this book so much. Can I say that one more time? I just love this book. Okay, I was just barely recently introduced to the Welly Wishers. This is an American Girl book, an American Girl series. I think there are 6, 7, 8 maybe. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. We don't have them all yet. We have 2. I got 2 more for my daughter's birthday that's coming up. And I asked for other people to get the other ones for my daughter's birthday too, because I just loved them. So it's about some girls, their friends. It's about their adventures in one of their aunt's gardens. They also have small obstacles to overcome. They work together as friends, and I love that. I think they're really cute. Again, they have like vibrant illustrations, and so they're good to start with for girls, but also, you know, more text. So I just really love these books. Great messages. I feel really good about reading them to my daughter. Okay, so one of my favorite books of all time, probably, I loved reading it, was Anne of Green Gables. And so of course I love this book, Anne Arrives. It tells kind of just the first part of the story of Anne of Green Gables in a very simplistic way, a way that little kids can definitely understand. And I think there's a second one that I still want to get to that kind of continues the story. But I thought it was just such a cute book, and I thought it did a really good job at just telling the story of Anne of Green Gables. And again, some pictures, a few more words. So another starter book, but it's really, really good. For your girls that love science, Zoe and Sassafras is so good. This little girl, she can see magical creatures just like her mom, and they come and they need help. And she has to figure out a way to help them with whatever's troubling them. And so she has to make a hypothesis and do some experiments and think about what she knows and how she can use her knowledge to help these animals, these magical animals that come to her for help. And she has a little sidekick. Her little cat is named Sassafras. And I just love this book too. These have been so cute. They've been so great. And I love watching my daughter read them, and then she'll come use like scientific words around me, and I just think that's hilarious and fun. And yeah, I definitely highly recommend these books. I also love them as well. I love reading them to her. Violet Mackerel is another one of my favorite stories. As far as I know, we have 4 books. I think there's only 4. Always there could be more. But Violet Mackerel's Natural Habitat is definitely my favorite of the 4 we have. And so if you just want to test it out or go get one from the library, this is the one I really love. This little girl, I think what I love about her and her story is that she's so curious. She's so open to observing the world around her and learning about what's going on around her. And she's just very, I don't know, I guess observant and curious are the 2 best words. And I really like that because I want to foster curiosity and the ability to see the world around you in my daughters. So I really love this story, but all 4 of them are very good. Okay, so my mom, who is a 2nd grade teacher, loves to get my daughter books and just kind of like surprise her with books whenever she comes to visit, which I think is the best thing ever. And she recently just started giving her these little Mouse Scout books, and they are so cute. It's about a troop of mice that are just part of like a scouting troop, and so they go camping or help people or serve people, and they work together as a little troop. And I've only read one with my daughter, but my daughter's read all 3 that we have, and I'm not sure how many there are because my mom's been getting them for us. But I hope there's a lot because they're just really cute, and they show just 6, I think there's 6 mice in the troop, and so there's 6 very different personalities and how they each handle the same situation. And I think it's a really good book, so highly recommend. Okay, this book was recommended by my most trusted book-loving friend. I ask her what books I need to read when I need new books to read to my daughter, because she has kids just slightly older than mine, and I know she will make a great recommendation. And she recommended this series, Heartwood Hotel. It is so cute. There are 4 books, and they are in different seasons of the year. So there's like a fall, winter, spring, and summer book. And it follows this little mouse. Her name is Mona. And she stumbles upon a hotel in the middle of the woods called the Heartwood Hotel. And she ends up being a maid there. And it talks about the different challenges they face at this hotel during each of the different seasons. And she makes friends, and there's all sorts of different fun woodland characters. And so I don't know, this book is so lovely and so fun, and I would say it's definitely for older kids. Not as many pictures, a lot more words. There are some pictures, but it's a lot more words, and I think it's just a great first chapter book when you're really getting into pure chapter books. It's still great for younger audiences. It's a little bit scarier, but really nothing too scary. And so, great book. I love this author, Callie George. She also did the Anne Arrives book, and she also does this next book that I'm gonna share. And this is our last book, and it's called The Magical Animal Adoption Agency. I guess magical animals are really big right now. It's super cute. It follows this girl. Her name is Clover, and she goes out into the woods and finds a magical animal adoption agency, and she gets put in charge, and so she's able to take care of all of these animals and also meet all sorts of different people that live in these woods, which are like witches and ogres. I don't know if there's ogres, but things like that, right? And it's really cute. It's definitely, when my daughter first read this, because she can read on her own, and when I got this for her, she just sprinted off and read it all by herself. It was a little bit scary for her, and when I read it to her, she did want to skip one chapter. But other than that, it's really good. So maybe save it for a little bit older, maybe 6-ish, but this is a great book too. Anyway, those are my favorite first chapter books for kids. Like I said, all of them are part of a series, so there's more than one book. And so I will go ahead and link below a blog post with all of these books on them, and I'll also just individually link each book so that you can go and look at them yourselves and see if there's any that you would like to share with your kids. If you have any books that you love, any first chapter books that you love that have great messages and are just wholesome and wonderful, please share them in the comments below. I'm always looking for wonderful books to share with my daughter. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.